Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Thank you to listening in to Talking to Myself, the part of the day where I sit down and talk to myself about things that I thought the day before while laying in bed. Shout out to all 345 followers that I have at the time of making this within a little bit over a month, about a month and almost a week now. I've shot from 0 followers to 345, so I appreciate it because I have never asked any of you to follow or subscribe me, so it means a lot. So thanks to all of you doing that, and also the ones that are in the comments, good or bad, and also on Instagram talking to me. I wanted to do something that would bring together photography community, and I feel like I'm slowly able to achieve that. So thank you again for making that a reality, and yeah, that's the only thank you you're ever going to hear from me. But anyway, some point of orders. What was I thinking about? Okay, number one, because I thought about it right now, Fujifilm has by far the worst camera app known to man. This thing is horrible. I mean, dear God. The camera app on Fujifilm, Sony's never had a problem. Canon's didn't even care to use it because it's a Canon. You know, but Fujifilm, dear God, the worst camera app. I mean, honestly, Olympus I know is worse and it's very, very bad, but for Fujifilm, for all that they hype up and everything, Fujifilm, you guys have the worst camera app. If you're looking to buying a camera system that has a sustainable camera app, just skip Fujifilm and just go to Sony. I mean, anyway, with all the bugs they have, dear God, at least it doesn't disconnect every 5 seconds and shut off your recording. So shout out to Fujifilm. Shout out to Fujifilm for having the shittiest camera app known to man. And it's the reason why I actually bought a third-party remote shutter for my camera. I'd rather not be able to see myself and see my settings and see if I'm in focus than have to deal with Fujifilm's camera app any day of my life. So shout out to JJC. For those of you who don't know, you can actually look it up and purchase a remote camera shutter from JJC that'll work with your X Pro 3 as well as all of your X cameras from Fujifilm. So you don't have to mess with the camera app anymore. Just make sure that you're going to be, not in focus, but in your composition correctly. You can half press that the remote for it. It'll act as a focus. It'll even do autofocus, and then full press will get you either a timer, 1 shot or 3 shot. And so shout out to JJC, man. They're really coming in clutch where Fujifilm falls short, and I really do appreciate it. Also, I was thinking about for all the people that I'm cool with on Instagram and stuff like that. I like a lot of photos. I share a lot of photos. If I haven't ever shared or liked some of your photos, just know that it's not that I don't like them, but I'm very particular about what I go for. I like and I share things that basically remind me of the things that I like to document. So family, stuff that reminds me of my family, my hometown, the area I came up in, the way I was raised and things like that. That's what I love to share and look at. Not to say that a lot of you guys don't do that, but I can't see everyone's stuff all at once. But usually whenever I follow someone, I end up finding something that I like. I think documenting your life is probably the greatest thing that you can do with the camera because, and especially whenever you print it out, because we are literally one Russia hack away from you not having any of your files whenever it comes to photos. And basically, what will be left? It'll just be all of the, the paper. It'll be all of the prints and things like that. So, I appreciate people that share all those memories and things with us. I know that sometimes it can be a tough thing to decide what you are and aren't going to share. But I thank you guys for sharing those moments with us, those tender ones on Instagram or anywhere else. If you have thought about, well, do I want to buy a camera? Maybe I want to get into photography and things like that. I say go for it. You don't have to be good at photography to be a photographer. You don't have to be great. You don't have to know the rules of composition and things like that. As long as your photos are exposed correctly and you know what that is, you'll be fine. A point and shoot is great. You don't ever have to learn about how ISO works, about how shutter speed works in correlation with ISO and aperture. You don't have to learn any of that stuff to become a photographer. Just grab a camera and take some photos. Listen, I've seen a lot of people gatekeeping recently, where people are like, you don't own the art of photography and blah, 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 and you don't get to choose what is and what isn't professional and beginner. And yes, we do. Yes, we do. We do. Because just because you get paid to do something doesn't mean you're professional. I can literally right now go around to people's homes, and because I have certifications, get paid to set up their wireless system and get paid to set up, some shit. But it doesn't mean I'm professional. It doesn't mean it's going to work. Like, just because you literally get paid and you have experience in something doesn't mean you're a professional. Because honestly, I can basically teach any single person to take studio portrait shots, plain and simple. I can teach, if you give me 1 week And for those of you that have done this before, you understand what I'm saying. If you give us 1 week to work with someone for an hour a day for 1 week, so 5 hours, I can teach someone basic lighting. I can teach someone aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. I can teach someone composition and rule of thirds. I can teach someone about ND filters, and I can teach someone about just basically how to operate the camera and how to do a workflow in the back end. Take the SD card, put it in here, do this, and send it to them. That's all I need. That's all I need is 5 hours. So for those of you that are talking about you're not a professional and things like this, and you know, because a lot of it's like, oh, I'm just giving constructive criticism. No, it's not. There's no such thing as constructive criticism, so let's stop it. Constructive criticism nowadays has turned into this. It's been an avenue and a way for you to talk shit about someone while giving yourself a compliment. That's all that a lot of constructive criticism has been like, hey, I don't want to be rude, I want to give you some constructive criticism, but I wouldn't do this, or this, you know, the way I would do it is no one gives a fuck the way you would do it. And I really want you guys to understand that whenever you're talking about other people and talking to young photographers, no one gives a fuck the way you would do it. Now you could tell them, hey, here's a tip, why don't you try this next time, or hey, check this out, like I think you might like, you know, the results if you do this. And if they do, they do. If they don't, they don't. It is not your decision on if something they do is professional or well done, because that is the way if they post something or if they print something, or if, you know what I'm saying, like if it's something that they like it for a reason. They don't need your fucking criticism. They don't need you to tell them their shots are overexposed. They like the way it looks with overexposed areas. You guys have to get that through your head. And if you're talking about, well, it's for professional businesses, listen, if you have to give constructive criticism to a professional business, okay, there's either two things happening. You're either bitter because your business is shit, or that's not going to be business that long. And you guys have to just let stuff play out. Mind your business. Here's 3 tips to figure out if you need to give your opinion to someone about something. Number 1, ask yourself, is this my business? If it's not your business and not the business of you, then you don't have to give your opinion or any criticism or anything. Number 2, ask yourself, is this someone else's business? If the answer is the business belongs to someone else, okay, then it's not your business to mind. So mind your business and don't give them your opinion or any of your criticism. And then number 3, another question to ask yourself is, if I was to walk up on this business, walking up on this business, let me stop you right there. That means it wasn't my business to begin with, so I should mind my own damn business and leave these people alone and not give them my opinion or my criticism. If those are the 3 top questions to figuring out if shit is your business, and if it's not your business, then you don't have an opinion and no one gives a damn about your opinion. And I don't like how people, whenever they tell me, like, because there are people that are like, hey, you know, I shot for 40, 50 years, and they give me like some cool information and stuff, and like they want to talk to me about their gear, like the stuff they got to do, which is great. But then it's always the same person. I've shot for 30 years, professional portrait photography, and you want to give your opinion on if shit works or not. And listen, I don't give a damn. Too long didn't read, pretty short didn't give a shit. I don't really care about anything you have to say. I don't. Even on this channel where people are like, oh my God, man, you're check out my hair, bro. Oh my God, man, you're obsessed with gear. You're obsessed with this, and this. No, I'm not. I just have an opinion. And I noticed that you didn't make a fucking video about this, so I don't care about your opinion. And we could just get along like that. I had this guy tell me, and he's got 60K subscribers on YouTube, and he's like, I shoot Leica and I shoot Fujifilm, and I think this and this, and I'm like, dude, that's fucking awesome. Good for you. I don't care. I literally could give a rat's ass about your opinion, because I never even asked for your opinion on this. I didn't ask for anyone's opinion on Leica versus Fujifilm. I didn't. I just told you specific facts about why you can't compare the two. Like, it's literally every time they always bring up the same damn thing. It's because the way it's built and shit. It's like, dude, I don't care how it's built. Do you understand that one is a full frame, one is APS-C, and that we don't do those with any other cameras? Maybe the X-T3 and the Sony A7S III or the Sony A7 and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's never this drastic to where they don't even have 90% of the stuff on the camera besides the aesthetics is so different. So, you know, yeah, just don't give your opinions. If you're not creating stuff, don't give your opinion. If you're an account on Instagram with like 5 posts and you're talking to someone who's got like, 40 photos and you don't have any photos with a camera and you're just reposting memes and shit like that, you shouldn't have an opinion. If you have a Reddit account or a YouTube account and you don't have any content up, I don't care about your opinion. I really don't. Like, I'll appease you and I'll talk to you if you're polite, but when you have a negative comment or opinion or something like that, like, I don't care about what you say. You are literally worthless in the YouTube sphere because you don't add anything but bitching. So bitch away. That's literally, I wouldn't even call that adding because there will always be someone. I bitch on YouTube. Man, I'm telling you, every time that I watch clips from The Wire on YouTube, I'm always fucking mad about some stuff. Every time I watch clips of New Girl on YouTube, I'm always mad about their continuation. But, I make shit. And so people know where to find me, they know my face, and they can come back and criticize my shit too. I got skin in the game, bro. Get some in yours. So no, I don't care about your opinion. I don't find your opinion valid. And I don't care if you want to share your opinion. I understand it's your right of free speech to have that opinion, but I don't care. And I don't think that it matters. So I hope that's I hope that helps some of you out, for if you're wondering why I'm not taking you seriously whenever you leave long comments and I'm putting stuff like LOL. I hope that helps you. Or if I just tell you shut the hell up, I hope that helps you understand why I do that. It's because you don't matter. Plain and simple. And so, there's that. Not to say, listen, if some of you guys make YouTube shit and stuff like that, or you make a lot of content and you want to give tips and stuff, or you do have something critical to say, I do conversate with you back and forth. I have conversated with a couple people. But for people that don't watch my videos all the way through and make stuff up, or they don't have any content or anything like that, like, honestly, I don't care what you think. Because for all I know, you're lying about ever using a Leica. You're lying about ever using Fujifilm, because that's what a lot of you do. A lot of you lie about the shit that you have or that you do. And that's why you hide behind having no profile picture on social media. That's why you hide behind having a profile picture of like a duck, or that's what you guys hide behind it, because you're cowards on the internet. And shout out to all the cowards, because you make it easier for me to cyberbully. But it's just like, it's not even worth it, because no one takes you seriously. You're able to piss off a couple people and you feel like your opinion is valid, but it's not. You don't own that shit. I can Google the exact same sources you have. It's not really funny. It's not fun. It's just like, it's pretty pathetic. A lot of times people are just playing around with you. Speaking about, hey, you listen, if you stumble across this and you don't really own a camera, and you like take photos and things like that, there are a few cameras that I would recommend. And this is off the top of the head. Canon 5D Classic, Sony a6000, Olympus EM10, OMD EM10 Mark II, or the OMD EM5 Mark I. So 5D Classic, I think, is great to pair with the 40mm f2.8. It's an older camera, but a DSLR will teach you more than any other camera, even more than film, because you're able to see things immediately. It'll teach you a lot about how photography works, and it's actually the #1 camera I would recommend. It'll teach you about the exposure triangle. It'll teach you how everything works in relation with shutter speed, aperture, and ISO. If you're actually looking to buy a camera for a family member, I wouldn't get them a mirrorless camera for their first camera. I would get them something with an optical viewfinder. I would get them a DSLR. I wouldn't get them a film camera, because honestly, the worst thing that can happen is someone takes photos on film, they think it's cool, they go to process their images, they get them back, and they're completely white or completely black, and they feel like, I don't know how to do this, and they don't pick it up ever again. DSLR, they're able to get instant gratification, or they're able to get instant confirmation that what they didn't work out. And I think that's very valuable to beginning photographers. The a6000, because Sony has some pretty good lenses in their APS-C lineup. It's a small, kind of thin camera. It can still do video for people that want to do that, and I just think those Sony APS-C cameras are pretty banging, especially for what you can get them used. And I think you pair that Sony a6000 with one of those Sigma lenses for the E-mount, and I think you're set. I think those Sony E-mount lenses are banging. Sony also has a pancake lens, I think a 20mm on their E-mount, which is a really good lens. And those are a couple that I would definitely recommend. The Olympus OMD EM10 or OMD EM5. The EM5 is waterproof. The Olympus, the OMD EM10 is, you know, a very small camera as well. Those are just small cameras that people can move around. But also, Micro Four Thirds, being able to adapt vintage glass onto it is fantastic. And the lenses in Micro Four Thirds are kind of cheap, and you're able to get you a pretty nice lens for about $100. And you can get you that 50mm focal length, even though it's from Panasonic and Leica, which I don't like. And Micro Four Thirds, here's a tip. I would stick with Olympus or adapting vintage glass, period, because I've never had good experience with, even on Olympus cameras, which have better autofocus than Panasonic and everything. I've never had good experience with the colors that come out of those compared to the colors that should come out of Olympus cameras. And I've never really liked basically the autofocus when pairing up a Panasonic or a Leica lens with Olympus. Just a heads up. That may just be me, but I feel like that 25 1.7 from Panasonic and Leica should have done a lot better than what it did. And then yeah, on the X Pro 1, I just think that's a fantastic camera. I think that it's waterproof. It looks great. You're gonna be swimming in honey dips because of the you know, the aesthetic of it. I think it's a fantastic camera. By the way, I don't think I touched on this. I'm now currently shooting on the Fujifilm X Pro 3 with a 50mm 1.4 at f1.8. Let me know how this is going and if it's working, if it's focused completely on the mic the whole time or the iPad, or if it's jumping back and forth. This is an experiment I wanted to try out. I'm still keeping the 50 f2, maybe. Who knows? Depending on how well this does, maybe I won't need it. Maybe I can stick with my 50mm 1.2 from TT Artisans being my only 50mm. But yeah. I'm shooting this on the 35 1.4. I mostly want to see, is the X Pro 3's algorithm good enough now to make up for the mistakes that happen in the focus by wire of this Fujifilm 35 1.4. So shout out to that. I'm also going to be giving away my DJI Osmo Pocket to my sister. She's a real estate agent, so I won't be shooting on that anymore. So I'm trying to see if the X Pro 3 will be able to handle things like the 28mm focal length, if the 18 f2 will be able to focus well enough, if this 35 1.4 will be able to focus well enough. Just things like that, so I can see if I can use it in different areas, because I really do like shooting with the X Pro 3 now. The video quality in this is fantastic. At 1080, I'm able to upscale it to 4K without any issues. And honestly, I love the Eternal LUT. Like, that LUT is really nice. It takes a lot of work out of color grading because it's basically around the exact same thing that I would grade if I didn't have it. And so it just saves me a lot of time. So LUTs are cool in my book. I really do appreciate them. I don't even know what I've been talking about or what I was supposed to talk about. So that's basically that. I'll save it for another video, but because I was gonna mention some stuff, because people have been asking me like, hey, what kits should I buy, or what are the first lenses I should buy? And I don't know what lenses you should buy because I don't know what you're buying them for. But I always choose 3 lenses, no matter what, 3 types of lenses every single time I'm in a camera system. I always get a pancake, I always get a 50mm equivalent, and I always get something 75mm and above. And that's just me, and I always do primes. I'll just make that into another video. So, but that's all for right now. Thanks for listening and joining, and have a good one.